about 35 minutes, so maybe we will
I'll
still
go check
be
it out.
here. Yeah, we have Star City up right here, and
Yeah, it's right. It's open right here.
Yeah, so
right
we
now.
will, if we're still live at that point, depending on how long this match goes, we will certainly bring it up and talk about it, at least for a few minutes. So, pretty cool. So for those of you just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco.
And I'm Jacob Van Lunen.
And we're here in Baltimore for the StarCityGames.com Legacy Open. Looks like these players will be playing out the finals. They're going to split the money, play for pride, trophy, and points. So, let's see. John claimed that if he won this, he may be qualified for Pro Tour Philly on rating. So
that'd be awesome.
Even more.
So this is like a
incentive for him,
PTQ
yeah.
final for him, and
Yeah, this is actually pretty big for him. If that's true, this is huge for him. I mean,
this is like
it is very much a
super duper match.
PTQ, yeah. So, I think the players are shuffling up from what I can see from here, and we'll be bringing that to you. So we've had a pretty exciting weekend. Final weekend for Jason Stoneforge Mystic in Standard, but both cards have proven to be new. I mean, to be still relevant. Plenty in Legacy. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, there were multiple decks in this top 8 with 4 copies of Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah.
There were multiple decks in this top 8 with more than 1 copy of Batterskull in their 75.
Yeah.
So those cards, while no longer standard legal, are definitely relevant and will continue to be relevant in the future.
We also will be giving away 1 year of StarCityGames.com premium membership during the finals. We'll be asking you a question after Game 1, and we'll be announcing the winner at the end of the match. So, got a question ready, but I'm not going to tell you what it is until after Game 1.
I want to know
You're gonna
so
have to
bad.
keep
Come
watching.
on.
Well, if you're paying attention, you know it. It may be on the back of the sheet. I don't know. I remember what it is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But I don't know how
Here's
to
my
read.
Yeah.
Come on.
You need to read in order to appreciate most of the content on Star City Games Premium.
That's true. I
So,
should probably learn how to do
Yeah,
that.
that'd be a good idea. Literacy is tech.
Jeez. The tricks of the trade. People got to tell them to you. You know?
learn
Everybody
something
thinks
new
it's
every day.
obvious, but
Learn something new every day,
Yeah.
right?
it's tough.
Players are reviewing lists, apparently, so.
Okay.
So, I was talking to you about this before, and I know we we sidetracked, but, Elves combo. You like that list? What is your kind of favorite iteration of the deck? I know I was mentioning Vengevines and Intuitions as being some decks run that, some decks run the Emrakul plan, some decks run both. I mean the core of the deck is obviously like the Nettle Sentinel and the Heritage Druid and Regal Force, Glimpse of Nature, things like that.
Yeah,
So.
I don't have Vengevines. I don't have
Okay.
Intuitions. I play a pretty classic list.
Okay.
I mean, I have the Regal Force thing. I play Green Sun Zenith.
Mhm.
Card's really good.
How many copies of that run? 4? Or
4.
4? Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the better cards. Summoner's Pact is the best card in the deck. I often see deck lists that play 3 or 2 copies of that.
Mhm.
Should always be a 4. All right, here we are. And the finals of the Star City Games Legacy Open here in Baltimore. Micah Greenbaum wins the roll and leads off with a Grove of the Burnwillows. It's a land from Future Sight. It taps for a red or a green, and when you tap it for a red or a green, your opponent gains a life. You can also tap for a colorless mana, and they don't gain a life. You may ask yourself, why is he playing that when he has access to Taiga? And the answer to that would be he has Punishing Fire in his deck. This gives him an incredible game plan against decks like Merfolk or Goblins.
Yeah, because what Punishing Fire has is the ability to return to your hand from the graveyard anytime your opponent gains life. So you cast your Punishing Fire, does 2 damage for red and 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives you the opportunity to just return it and use it over and over again every time you tap Grove of the Burnwillows for colored mana. So Tarmogoyf from Micah, first threat on the stack, and John has the answer in the form of Spell Snare. So John's turn.
All right. John's deciding what land to play. It may seem like that took a little while, but playing your lands in the correct order is one of the most important things you can possibly do in a standstill deck. So,
Mishra's Factory from John, and Micah adds a Plateau.
And there's a Countryside
Crusher. Now that we
Putting
haven't
John back to
seen,
20.
we saw that in his hand. We never saw it in play when we were watching Micah earlier. So, Countryside Crusher, Morningtide rare, gets dismembered.
Dropping John down to 16.
So, not much, about as much impact on this game as it had in Standard at the time it was printed. So, which is not much.
Now, he does have the Burning Wish, so if that resolves. Alright, so he attempts to get another Reliquary under the table, and John decides to use a Force of Will and remove a Mental Misstep from his hand.
So John missing land drops left and right. Not looking good. Micah with a second Knight of the Reliquary. Those knights love to hang out next to each other in Micah's deck.
They really do.
Force of Will removing Jace the Mind Sculptor from John.
Yeah, now he's used so many forces. I
Keep
think
the-
he only
yeah.
has one card left in his hand.
4 cards to fight 2 Knights of the Reliquary. And Caracas from Micah.
And
Wooded Foothills.
it's actually a preemptive wasteland if John himself draws a Caracas as
That's
his third land.
true, yeah. And there's a bad land.
And I think Micah's going to go ahead and Burning Wish here. I'm not overly familiar with every card he has access to on his board, but I would assume he's just getting a loam. It's interesting, normally when players cast Burning Wish, you just let it resolve because you want to counter whatever they get.
Yeah.
But when it's Life from the Loam, it doesn't work that way.
Not as good to counter, yeah. It just gets it right back. So unfortunately, John not able to deal with the Burning Wish and Life from the Loam. Enters the game from the sideboard. Mishra's Factory in for 2. John's going beat down.
Alright, so at this point, Micah can start gaining a ton of card advantage by using that Life from the Loam. And every time he dredges it, he's going to get closer and closer to finding things like Punishing Fire and things like Cycling Lines, which will let him generate a huge amount of card advantage.
Yeah, and if John keeps missing land drops, I don't even think he's going to need it.
No.
Life from the Loam from Micah. He's got the devastating dreams there.
Yeah, and I imagine he's going to want to do that for 2.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, why not? Really no options left for John to deal with that, and well, John reset back to...
I don't think he sacrificed the Caracas, but that's fine.
John reset back to the beginning of the game here with less cards in his opening hand. Micah with Life from the Loam, dredging away a Dark Confident Tarmogoyf and a Wooded Foothills.
And I mean, as soon as he has a Cycling Land, it's all but over.
Life from the Loam gets back the Caracas, passes back to John.
Yeah.
Now John couldn't find a third land. Now he's working on his first land.
Yeah.
Really has nothing.
Yeah. And Sloan is just getting out of hand now. Still no Cycling Land for Micah. Kind of unusual. Oh,
John does manage to hit an island, but
And there's a Worm Harvest, and John packs it in.
yeah, that was that's brutal when you don't hit your third land drop, but
Yeah.
especially brutal when your first 2 lands get destroyed from a devastating dream. So
Oh, double Stone Rain
Yeah.
for 2 mana.
so
Card's all sorts of fair. It's a very underplayed card, in my opinion. I mean, the thing is you have to have an arbitrarily large amount of card advantage in order to make it worthwhile. And
So
we're back.
we're back here in the booth. We're going to ask you, we're going to give you a trivia question, give you the opportunity to win 1 year of free StarCityGames.com premium membership. What you do, you use Twitter to tweet your answer at SCG Live with the hashtag SCG Premium. Include your answer and your StarCityGames.com username. We'll choose a random winner from the people that answer correctly to win 1 year of Star City Games premium membership. So
So what you want to do is at SCG Live, hashtag SCG Premium, and then just remember to include your Star City Games username. That's important so that we know who to give the free year to.
So I have a question here, and I try to make it a little bit more difficult than some of the previous
I
ones.
want to know it's so bad. So bad.
And I know you can't read, so I will read it out loud to you.
Like, if I was Gollum, that would be my Ring of Power.
So the question to win 1 year of StarCityGames.com premium membership is, what Star City Games Select writer played Illusionary Mask on camera today?
Oh, I know the answer.
You do. You were
do.
watching earlier.
I
You
was.
were
I also did an
watching.
interview with him.
Yeah. You
Afterward.
stop saying him. You're ruining it.
I know, the Guess
You're
Who game. I
giving
keep
it right.
ruining it. Jeez.
So, what Star City Games Select writer,
Extra clue, he wears a backpack.
ooh, and plays Magic cards, played Illusionary Mask on camera today?
The most confusing card I've seen that's legal in sanctioned play ever.
I dub his deck Confusionary Mask.
Confusionary Mask. I like that.
I think that's a
we
better
we
name.
watched him win a game
Just-
exclusively because his
of
opponent was
Confusionary Mask.
terrified and confused and had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, just what does that card do? Can I get the Oracle text? I still don't understand. Can you make it simpler, please? That was pretty much what it came down to, and there's really no simpler way to tell it. But that was an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty awesome deck.
Yeah,
He did pretty well. I mean, not well in the tournament, but the concept of the deck seems really cool.
Yeah.
He has this like shell of discard and just powerful cards like Dark Confidant, Tarmogoyf, and then the rest of the deck is just like Illusionary Mask, Torpor Orb, and then he has Hunted Horror and Phyrexian Dreadnought.
yeah.
And
Seemed fun.
personally, when I'm playing Legacy,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to assemble a 2-card combo,
Mhm.
I'd like to kill my opponent and not put a gigantic fatty into play. But I might be willing to change my ways if it means I get to play a card as confusing as Illusionary Mask.
As a losing as Confusionary Mask.
As a losing as confused as Mask. Obviously.
Obviously. Yeah. So.
All right, well, we're about to get down to game 2
Down to
here
business
in
here.
the finals.
Now, we know
John,
Micah. Micah has not dropped a match yet,
Mhm.
so he could continue on that streak. He's already halfway there, 1 win, up a game against John Winters in the finals. I think the players are probably shuffling up now, so
We'll bring
bring
that
in
to
the
you
game 2
very
in just a
shortly.
sec.
So, what was your favorite deck that we've seen so far today in Legacy?
I think I'm very partial to Ali and Trazi's Turbo Land
deck?
build. Yeah, I really like Ken Adams build. That was the other deck. That
would
caused
be
the
my pick
hesitation.
if,
I really like that deck,
if I
but
were to pick. But my hesitation is also between those two decks.
yeah. So love the idea of drawing so many cards, playing so many lands in one turn, and then just taking so many turns. Right, it seems so much fun. So
Here we are, and we're back to the table here. We're about to watch the finals of the Star City Games Legacy Open here in Baltimore, Maryland. Micah Greenbaum is currently up a game, playing Agrolome, against John Winters, playing Blue-White Standstill.
so he's up a game, but he's about to be down a card.
So he's mulliganing to 6 now. but as we've seen in the past, the Agrolome deck is quite good at operating with less cards. The loams and things like that allow it to, just create an arbitrarily large amount of cards. That's why it can afford to play a card like Devastating Dreams.
Mm-hmm. Micah and John, both of those guys, look very happy. Having a really good time over there.
Yeah. I mean, you're in the finals.
Yeah.
Star City Games Legacy Open. It's got to feel pretty good. Both of them playing really awesome, fun decks to play. Standstill, perhaps not the most fun deck to watch, but when you're sitting there thinking about everything and trying to figure out each play,
yeah,
it's really fun.
It feels good to put your opponent in situations where, and putting somebody like in kind of a lock situation. Even just playing a standstill and saying, "Yeah, I'm fine with sitting here," All
right, Micah chose to keep a one-lander, and he'll lead with the Verdant Catacombs. And let's see, does he get there? He does. Now he has a few different options. He can attempt to run his Dark Confidant out there, but I'm not sure if that's what he wants to do, because that card is significantly more valuable if it sticks than a card like Tarmogoyf. So he may want to lead with a card like Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, just to bait the spell snare if John has one.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So he goes with a bio.
All right, and that's an interesting choice because he's still unable to cast the Red Elemental Blast that's in his hand. But he'll probably fetch up a red source with his next fetch land, and that'll allow him to cast Dark Confidant with red backup. And yes, he goes for the Goyf first.
Yeah, exactly what we thought.
All right, John choosing to let the Goyf resolve. Interesting choice on his part. Perhaps he has a card like Threads of Disloyalty in his hand. I'm unsure. Maybe he just has a Swords.
The Dalkin Shackle is also an option.
Yeah. Micah does draw a third land here. And he has a fourth land, so he's been drawing nothing but lands since the beginning of this game. Plays a Sylvan Library, and that's got to be frustrating for John Winters. I can't imagine John wants this resolve.
So he cracks both fetch lands.
Interesting. Perhaps he's going to play a hard counterspell here. It wouldn't surprise me. Sylvan Library is a card that is very powerful and capable of running away with the game. It's the original Sensei's Divining Top.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have an activation cost, but you can only do it once per turn. Much less time consuming.
Absolutely. So John gets Island, keeping himself safe from any sort of non-basic land hate.
And
like a wasteland. So
he's going to go ahead and swords for
the Goyf, yeah.
Now, something really interesting. Micah probably brought Choke in, which could be absolutely huge.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier. That seems like it would be really, really good.
Yeah, it's definitely a trump here. So if he can get John to use his counter magic on cards that John absolutely has to counter, cards like Sylvan Library and cards like Dark Confidant, then he can almost assuredly resolve that choke. And once he resolves the choke, it's going to be John Winters is going to feel like he's being choked.
Yeah, I mean, some of these cards are just very aptly named. Devastating Dreams, Choke.
I would settle for some Devastating Dreams right now. Any kind of dreams would be welcome.
So, Red Elemental Blast.
Yeah, so yeah, fires off a Reb, and we're going to have to see if John has the mental misstep for that.
John does not.
He probably took the mental missteps out of his deck. They're pretty weak here. The only thing they really counter are the Rebs.
And are we going to see Elspeth or Jace? Jace the Mind Sculptor from John Winters.
Yeah. And Jace is at 3 counters. I will assume that John is going to try to brainstorm here.
Seems good. As many cards as possible. Be able to answer Micah's threats. So far, so good, but he did resolve that Sylvan Library. It's going to make it a little more difficult. So both players with their own version of Sylvan Library on the table.
Yeah. Jace being a significantly more powerful version that costs a little more mana.
Yeah.
Alright.
But, yeah, once they're on the board, they don't cost any mana at all.
Alright, so let's see. I think
You expect the Dark Confidant here. Does he? Does he keeps one, or he keeps or one additional card? Pays the 4 life.
no. And I think we're going to see. What is this?
Knight of the Reliquary? No,
it's a
Vindicate for Jace the Mind Sculptor. That will work.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer to have there.
For over the Burn Willows, pass the turn.
I'm surprised that he played the Grove after Vindicating. He would have been able to use Red Elemental Blast to protect that otherwise.
Does he have an additional one in hand?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
I think it was a mistake on his part, because after he did it, he shook his head and played the
Like,
Grove.
oops,
so
yeah.
He may have thought that he had played the Grove first.
Yes,
Yeah.
sometimes, I know we were talking earlier, it's like sometimes you have this line of play in your head and then you do something and you're like, wait, this isn't how I played it out of my head, I
Yeah.
skipped a part.
Luckily for him, it worked out that time, but
Yeah.
he has been playing a pristine game throughout the stop. We've actually followed him all the way through the stop eight.
Yeah.
And he got very lucky against Ken Adams in the quarterfinals, but, he played well enough to make it count, and that's really important.
So apparently the top card of Micah's deck is Worm Harvest. We know that because of the Sylvan Library, and Micah knows that because of the Sylvan Library.
All right, so
I know this because Tyler knows this.
John goes ahead and casts a Vidalcan Shackles. Now we're going to take a look at what Sylvan Library has to offer. And, what Mike would really like to see here is Mike would really like to see what is the name of this card? I'm drawing a blank. Choke.
Ah, yeah.
Let's stick the choke while John doesn't have a countermeasure. I guess the choke is fine at any point. So Mike is down to 12 now, I believe.
Yeah, can we get the life total check really quick?
And
Riftstone Portal.
Riftstone Portal.
That card is really good.
Here's a lemon.
Okay, so
And here we go.
how does that work again,
So
Worm
he's-
Harvest?
Well, he gets a 1/1 token for each land card in his graveyard, so I believe he's only going to get 1 or 2 right now. Then I guess 2. Or no, just 1. Where did he take the other point from? I'm confused, but yeah. But now that Worm Harvest is in his graveyard, it has Retrace,
Mhm.
so he can.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
It's 3.
That's 3. Okay.
I say I feel like there's definitely more than one land there.
But he can retrace the Worm Harvest by
Mhm.
discarding a land, and then he can pay the 5 mana, discard the land, and cast it again. So every land becomes a Worm Harvest that he wants to from this point forward.
Seems really good.
It is really good.
In this deck in particular, especially against something like Shackles. Like, okay, have a sheep worm.
Yeah. Those are some furry-looking worms.
Yeah. Fluffy worms. So, Wrath of God will take care of those. At least the initial wave of worms. A standstill from John will ensure that he can refill his hand next time Micah chooses to cast a spell.
Alright, so that's pretty nice. He gets the choke here, so if he wants, he can get that choke and then play choke with the Red Elemental plus backup. even if the standstill pops, he's still in an awesome spot.
Yeah, have some cards. If you can't cast them, they're irrelevant, so.
Good luck.
Choke to break a standstill. 1, 2, 3 cards for John to find an answer to choke. And it appears that the choke has resolved.
Yeah, and right there. You know, his opponent may have drawn 3 cards, but he essentially just destroyed 4 of his opponent's lands.
Yeah.
That's brutal. He just wildfired. One-sided.
And Mistress Factory from John.
Alright. So top 3 cards, there's a land there. So that can become 4 worms, if Micah so desires it to. And I think he does. There we go. And 4 worms. So.
I'm gonna steal one of those.
Stealing sheep,
Yeah.
you know.
Goat napper.
It never ends up turning out well.
And John says, I'm just gonna attack. Alright, now they're germs, they're sheep,
Becoming all
they're
sorts of
worms.
things.
It's not germ
Like
harvest.
shapeshifters.
What is this?
What is this? They're constantly changing.
You said it was worm harvest, right? Not germ harvest.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Just making sure. You didn't mishear that. I mean, I remember it as worm harvest, but those are certainly funny looking worms.
yeah. What John needs right now is some type of bird, because birds, you know, eat worms.
That's right.
A natural diet.
Sometimes they say the early bird gets the worm. Mistress Factory takes out one of those worm germs.
And
Is Micah just gonna continue to just, yeah,
and now he gets 5.
force of will this time?
Yeah.
Removing spell snare.
Yeah.
Nope, islands don't untap. And John in the tank right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a pretty bad spot. I mean, the islands wouldn't tap for him for the rest of the game, so it's not a good situation to be in.
Unless he can misdirect a Vindicate onto the choke.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a very nice play.
The Star City O pun from O2
Yeah,
drop.
Now, Micah finding. I'm confused as to why he doesn't just get the punishing fire and just kill the factory whenever he feels like. Alright, so
Knight of the
Reliquary.
Reliquary. That's bigger than that Vidalcan Shackles can handle.
Yeah.
Quite a bit bigger.
It's I believe it is a 7/7 or 8/8? 7/7?
Probably a 7/7. Swords to Plowshares.
And that's gonna resolve.
Yeah, it is a 7/7.
And that'll pop Micah back up to 14, which isn't really that bad. I mean, John was trying to get aggressive there. Now, Micah can even just saw away at John's life total with the punishing fire if he wants to. Like, that's a very reasonable option here. Is, you know, counter magic's almost irrelevant because you can just keep returning it to your hand. And
Right.
then you can also kill the factory with that. So that's another route to victory.
Yeah, it seems like Mike is in really good shape here.
So Micah's going to go down to 13 here.
You double check the life totals.
Yeah, the life totals on the screen are a little off right now. Micah is at 13.
Is it Micah's at 13? Not John, right?
Yeah, Micah's at 13. John is still at, or no, I think John may have gone to 13 also. But, yeah.
Like totals. Trying to get correct life totals for you guys on screen.
Yeah, and there's that punishing fire that I spoke about, and it is 13 all right now.
John using his useless islands to dust bowl away Micah's lands.
Yeah. Could be an effective strategy. So Micah took 4 there to use his
Sylvan Library?
Use Sylvan Library to get an extra card. And it's a pretty powerful tool to have. Whenever you have that extra life, like your opponent is casting swords on 7/7 Nether Reliquaries, then you can refund those cards by using Sylvan Library.
Yeah. That's why John fought over it so hard, but just could not seem to find an answer for it. Red Elemental Blast precluded John from being able to answer the Sylvan Library, and that has made sure Micah has the right cards off of the top.
If he wants to do this. Ooh, now he can use that Shackles all over again. I'm surprised he didn't aim it at the face.
So, punishing fire for John's sheep worm germ thing that he stole from Micah. And is that a Relic of Progenitus?
It is. Quite a good card here. Micah really needs to find a way to deal with his Shackles, because it's preventing him from playing. Like now he can't even play Knight if he draws it, because the Relic of Shackles will allow John to take whatever he wants.
Yeah. And Knight will be much better defense against those germs than just a single germ of its own. Well, worm, sorry.
Yeah. Ooh, so this is a... Micah drew a Burning Wish. I'm interested to see if he can get a way to kill an artifact enchantment with that. I imagine he must have something. So if he can deal with that Vidalcan Shackles, then he'll be doing much better in this game. So let's see what happens now. Burning Wish. And if John has a counterspell, he's got to use it right now.
Pulverize.
Let's see what he gets. What is this? He's looking at Life from Home, which doesn't seem like the best option with Relic on the table.
And he has this in his board. Pulverize, which will deal with the Shackles and the Relic.
Nice. But he unfortunately does not have 2 melons.
Yeah. That is indeed what he searches for, Pulverize. So,
Yeah.
those of you who don't know what Pulverize like John Winters, just clarifying it himself. It's a rare from Mercadian Masks for red 4 sorcery. You may sacrifice 2 mountains instead of paying Pulverizer's mana cost. Destroy all artifacts. So Micah does not have the 2 mountains, so we'll have to find them or find an additional mana just to hard cast this.
And Mike goes ahead and removes the red elemental blast and the graveyard from the game. Oh, cool. So it is midnight now, so if you guys want to go to StarCityGames.com, you can probably check out that new preview card. I'll be sure to do that as soon as this match ends.
Yeah.
So Micah attempts to return his Punishing Fire back to his hand from the graveyard. And John has to think about things for a moment. That's an either relic, right? And, I mean, that's going to be how this game is won. A knight is going to have to be forced through, Yeah, the knight will become small enough when the relic is activated for John to steal it, but
Pulverize.
not if Micah is able to resolve this pulverize. And John's gonna gain 1 from that, and Micah is going to attempt to destroy both artifacts. And John is almost certainly going to respond at least by sacrificing the Alchemist Visions to look a little deeper. Alright, so first thing John does is activate the relic, and so they're going to remove the graveyards from the hand.
Yeah. Draw a card.
And he's going to draw a card. And he rips the Force of Will.
That is nice.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed in that spot.
Just wondering if it's worth it, seems like.
I feel like it is, because, I mean, no?
Seemed like that was his best defense, and he just let it go.
That's like his only way of winning this game, even.
So Pulverize resolves. Pulverizing that Relic in Shackles.
Where did that Mox Diamond go?
Yeah, where did that Mox Diamond go? Is it under the Pulverize? Guess that's what it is.
Yeah, why is the Mox Diamond in the graveyard?
Because Pulverize destroyed all artifacts.
Oh, it destroys all artifacts.
Yeah.
I thought it destroys up to 2. I thought it destroyed 2 artifacts.
Oh, no, it just destroy all artifacts.
Oh, okay. Confusion.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you were looking for it because it was supposed to be destroyed and maybe it wasn't there. And then I was, well, wait, isn't that it?
No. Just being an idiot.
Devastating dreams.
Alright, so there's an Elspeth.
Alright, so Elspeth will...
That's pretty good. So John may win this game. Despite things looking so good for Micah earlier. see what Micah can find here. Micah manages to find a Tarmogoyf, so on this turn he can play both a Tarmogoyf and a Knight. Of course, his opponent does have Force of Will, so it's pretty interesting right now. Now, Micah really does need a way to deal with this Elspeth, though. The Elspeth is it's a 2-turn clock with that factory. Well, I guess he has Wasteland for the factory, but it's a 3-turn clock with that soldier, so. Now, Micah goes ahead and he's going to have his opponent gain a life, and I guess he's going to
Punishing fire
the
soldier, yeah.
And I like that play. Okay, so the Punishing Fire was able to dispatch of that soldier token, and now he's going to get in at the Elspeth for 2 damage. He's going to use this opportunity to attempt to resolve a Tarmogoyf, and let's see what John has to say about that. Yeah, so now this Tarmogoyf will be a 3/4 if it resolves.
This game is such a struggle for John. Like,
Yeah.
he's staying in it, but it seems like he's just barely keeping his head above water. Micah not really able to kind of pull him under entirely with just those little 1/1s, but he's still in much more of a commanding position than John, especially really just due to that choke. But now Tarmogoyf trying to add to the pressure here, and
Force of Will pitching a Jace. It doesn't seem like really casting that spell anytime soon.
yeah, force, remove Jace, get rid of that Tarmogoyf.
No. Yeah, deals with the factory, and anybody may be in trouble. I think John may have a Crucible of Worlds in hand, which would be pretty nice right here. Did John use fetch land in this game? I believe he did, right? I'm sure he's used at least one, right?
You remember his graveyard was removed from that relic.
Oh, you're right. So he does not have fetch land, so he can't loop blue with the Crucible.
Lays a Tundra.
And
Is he?
that's something.
Yes.
And yeah, he taps the Tundra and sacrifices it. And he's going to destroy the Grove of the Mountains.
Yeah, it's Dust Bowl away one of those groves.
Let's see what Micah found here. Now, Micah still has another Reliquary in his hand, I believe. So perhaps he just resolves that this turn. Yeah. Swing both worms at the Elspeth. That seems like a fine play. I don't mind that at all. Yeah. Elspeth goes to 3. And then Micah's going to get another Reliquary onto the table.
It looks like John does not have an answer for that. No, not at all.
No, he does not.
That knight is, I believe, a 4/4 now.
Yep.
So,
Crucible of Worlds. That's going to be pretty good, especially when he has the Dust Bowl out. We saw a Dust Bowl Crucible of Worlds take over the game earlier.
notably, if John had the shackles here, he could have stolen that knight
Yeah.
Well, really what would have happened is Micah wouldn't have played the knight if he could have stolen it, so.
Yeah. Now, Micah finds a dust ball of his own, which is not very good because John can simply return his dust ball with
Crucible, yeah.
Yeah.
Another grove added to the board.
Yep, he's going to allow John to gain a life, and then he's going to use that to return the Punishing Fire back to his hand. And he's going to tap that. John is going to gain another life. He's going to attempt to Punishing Fire the soldier, but John has a spell snare. He's going to have to let that go, and then he's going to attack the Elspeth with the worm and the knight.
Yep. So that,
Or he could also just attack the Elspeth with just the worm, and use the knight's activated abilities so that he get the Dark Confidant into play. But
So, John chump blocks the knight with the soldier. Elspeth goes down to 3 from the germ hit, or worm hit, to be more accurate. Crucible brings back Mishra's Factory.
And Micah's probably kicking himself that he didn't deal with the Dust Bowl when he had the chance.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering that myself, why he decided to go for the factory first, but, I mean, Crucible would have just brought it back.
Yeah. I feel like he's got to play this.
Looks like Mox Diamond, possibly Rishadan Port, and Choke.
Okay.
That's what I'm pretty sure I saw. He takes the top 2, so pays the 4 life. Mox Diamond. Discarding. Oh, it's Dust Bowl. Maybe that's what it was that I saw. It wasn't Rishadan Port.
Okay.
Both in the same set, though, right? I think they were both Arcadian Masks. Punishing Fire the soldier. No spell snare this time.
Yep. And
Elspeth probably gone.
Elspeth's gonna go away.
So I think that's
And just like that, Elspeth in the graveyard. John doesn't want to lose that, but he's gonna have to. And John really needs to find an answer to this Nether Relic right here. He's done for.
he's got Tundra Brainstorm and some other cards in his hand which we did not see.
He can block it forever by using his factory, but that means that he's not going to be using his Dust Bowl. And eventually, Micah's going to draw a Tarmogoyf for a knight. It's a very, very interesting game. John is pondering his options, and he decides to go ahead and use his Dust Bowl yet again. A little bit dangerous. This knight is no joke. He's a 6/6.
Kind of feels like watching 2 people try to kill each other with paper cuts.
Yeah.
It's like, I could stop you from paper cutting me, but then you paper cut me next turn, and I paper cut you. It's like, just, kind of.
This is like
every
a
turn very
very
painful,
long,
but
long
very
match.
but not very not very brutal.
And he gets in 2 points here. That's
It's a big paper cut, about twice the size of some of the ones we've been seeing go back and forth. John, I mean, if these are the correct life totals, John definitely has a chance here.
and so I think Micah's going to use this library, and he's going to get that elemental blast. Now what he's going to need to do is he's going to want to. I'm pretty sure he needs to. Maybe he's going to tap the knight, or he can't. It'll just get dust bolt whatever he gets. So he's just going to.
Yeah, just attack.
Yeah.
Is that a 6/6 knight, I think?
Yep. And that'll put John down to 11 here.
Okay, so 3-turn clock if John can't find an answer.
And Micah has a wasteland. And
So now he can, if he wants to waste that dust bolt, but then again, it's Crucible just brings it right back.
yeah, I think he might just wait. There's no reason.
Gets rid of the factory.
I don't know why I didn't wait till. Yeah. But yeah, let's see what John does. Micah's end step. He can brainstorm here if he so desires, but I'm not sure if that's really the best option. This is going to be pretty interesting. Well, this is a very, very long game. John is still pondering over his options here. And let's see what he does. He's going to go for a brainstorm. And I think Micah, it would behoove him to, I'm a bit confused. I don't understand. Alright, so John's going to put back some cards, and then he's going to have a Swords to Plowshares to use on this another Reliquary. And Micah will
Gain 6 life, go back up to 9.
Mm-hmm.
How many cards are left in these players' libraries?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, it seems like plenty, which is just unbelievable, considering how long this game's gone on.
Yeah, I feel like I've been sitting here for I'm gonna come out of the booth and be like Rip Van Winkle. Like I won't be in America anymore, you know.
Yeah.
Will there have been revolution? And Maryland defected. It's a disaster. I'm like, I'm stuck here now.
Standstill from John will make one of the libraries smaller. Red Elemental Blast from Micah will deny that particular plan. I kind of wonder if my car's going to be stuck in the garage because I think it closed at midnight. I just realized that. Hopefully I can get out of the garage. That would not be cool. Did not expect that to be a factor.
Yeah. This match started about an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, definitely wasn't long after 11.
And game 1 was
super fast.
super
yeah.
duper fast.
I said if we're still broadcasting at midnight. So,
Alright,
Worm gets in.
And 10-10 life totals. Micah's gonna go for a
Crack the
Dark
standstill
Confidant.
with the Dark Confidant.
And
10-9 because of Force of Will. Actually.
And I wonder how many cards are left in John's library.
Yeah. Well, he's just drawn 3 off of the standstill.
Yeah. He used to brainstorm and a few other things like that, so I mean, it's just gotta end eventually. I feel like Lamb Chop's about to like come out of the side and start singing, you know what I mean? Like
Sherry Lewis, Lamb Chop.
Yeah. This is a game that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. Some people started playing it just thinking it would end, but then they kept on playing it, and now they're just there forever. Alright, so,
Mishra's Factory. Tap 3. Dust Bowl. Kill the Grove of the Burn Willows.
Yep. And
You're gonna stifle that or something?
Come on.
Float man.
Alright, yeah, he's making red and making his opponent gain life so that he can return his punching fire back to his
Right.
hand. So.
And there's a Punishing Fire.
Yep. Oh my goodness. You ever watch the HBO thing, like real-time sports reels, like with the super slow motion stuff?
I think there's a show on Discovery Channel actually. I think it's called like Time Warp or something, something like that. Yeah.
No, they show
And
like
they show, like,
animals
the-
and super
No, it's
slow-mo.
actually it's like things like balloons popping and all kinds, like in super slow motion.
Oh, I have seen this.
It's really kind of cool. So what made you think of that all of a sudden?
Oh, this match. Alright, so Micah's down to just 3 mana sources. And this is... Oh, so... Oh my goodness, this is so complicated. Alright, so he's got to go through the emotions of figuring out what he's going to do with this library. And it's pretty unclear. So he found the Nomad's Assembly, or Nomad Stadium rather. And the Nomad Stadium, pretty cool place. It's where all the nomads go to play sports and things like that.
In slow motion.
I kind of wasn't sure. At first I thought there was a stadium that was. So I'm not really sure what 3 cards are on top in what order.
What's the how's that flavor of? Did
they missed a Bob Trigger.
Ooh.
Okay.
So we're gonna think that may be being resolved or momentarily resolved, but apparently a Dark Confidant trigger was missed. So the Nomad Stadium. Nomads are always on the move, so that stadium's got to be collapsible, right?
Yeah, that's what I figure. I was actually wondering if the people who visited the stadium were not actually nomads, but the stadium itself was a nomad. Just like a stadium that moved around.
Probably both.
Yeah.
I mean, it would need to be.
Alright, so they're figuring out. Okay, so we have an issue where Micah forgot to Dark Confidant trigger. So
I mean,
we're gonna have to figure out what order these cards are in. Unfortunately, I do not remember the order of these 3 cards.
No, not at all.
Alright, so it's being treated as a regular miss trigger. We'll have to see.
This is a really crazy game. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, this
it's-
game is absolutely insane.
I compared it to two people trying to kill each other with paper cuts, but I kind of feel like it's more like 2 people trying to kill each other with feathers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to feather you. Like, I mean, John is literally choked. You know, his islands are choked. Can't pay any blue mana unless he, you know, like a Tundra returned from a Crucible of Worlds. So he has, you know, very, very little access to blue, if at all.
Yeah, I mean, Micah.
Which it makes me feel like Micah should have been able to capitalize on this a long time ago. But
Yeah, I mean, he
really
didn't play that
know.
Bob for many, many, many turns.
Yeah, it just seems like when you cut off your opponent's like half of their mana base, if not more. I mean, I feel this is blue-white control, but it leans pretty heavily on blue.
Yeah.
How have you not been able to capitalize on this, especially when you've been able to capitalize on some of these
Yeah,
situations?
one of the
like-
biggest mistakes was his opponent cast a Brainstorm
Mhm.
when his opponent's under a choke with his only blue mana, and he didn't counter it. And then the bottom card on that Brainstorm was the Swords to Plowshares that killed that knight. And that would have been 2 more attacks with a 7-power creature.
Yeah. So wait a minute. How could he have countered a brain? Oh, the red. He had a red.
He had a
Okay,
Rev in hand,
Okay.
which he then later used on Standstill, but the game never would have made it that deep.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, but that was fairly recent, though. I mean,
Yeah, that was.
it was only about, you know, a couple turns ago. But there's the Nomad Stadium. Bob and Worm teaming up
All right.
in the
so
red zone.
John goes down to 7 here.
Nomad Stadium.
Micah with a Nomad Stadium. And that Nomad Stadium is going to let Micah, you know, he can exchange it for just about. So, okay. All
So
right.
here's a resolution to that. They're resolving the Bob after the Sylvan Library because we can't back up to know what exactly those were. They're treating it as a missed trigger. So.
Mhm.
At least that's what.
Yeah, that is the ruling we have here.
Yeah. This is Micah's second warning for missed trigger in the tournament. So.
Huh.
That's.
Do you get a? I thought that was.
Was
Not sure if I
is it
knew that.
3 or 2? I mean, I don't. I'm sure they know. If it's his second, then they would.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what level of tournament it is. I know at Grand Prix Chicago a few years back, Brian Cole missed a Bob trigger on day 2, and then did it again in the top 8 and was and received a game loss, and it was game 3 and he had it locked up.
Oh.
And got eliminated from the top 8 by missing a Bob trigger.
So there was a Bob trigger revealing another Bob, and Sylvan Library now.
The Sylvan Library will come out, and Micah right now would really, really like to see pithing needle. I don't know if he has those. I'm gonna go quickly check how many cards are in each player's library.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. So Micah determines his top 3 order there.
It looks like both players have about 25 cards.
Somehow both players have 25 cards. Was this Battle of Wits decks? I mean, how have they played for this long and not draw on more cards? I don't understand.
I also do not understand.
So, Dust Bowl, Bio.
This match is going to take a really long time if each player takes a few minutes per turn, but Bob triggers, reveals the forest, Solo Library triggers, and let's see what they find on the top. And that's a Knight of the Reliquary, which is going to be pretty good here.
Yeah, definitely the kind of threat that Micah wants.
Yeah, the forest will come down, and then he can cast Knight of the Reliquary. He'll take a pain, and this Knight of the Reliquary will have Red Elemental Blast back up as a counterspell.
So, Knight of the Reliquary appears to have resolved.
Yeah, it looks as if it has.
Pass the turn, yeah. Wasteland, no. Wasteland, Dust Bowl. Anything you want to do to make that knight bigger? Apparently the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, with those two workshops, you can essentially chump block the knight forever.
But can't chump block all 3 forever, right?
Well, the problem is that the factories are big enough to not just chump the Bob or the worm, but
they kill the other. But if they kill the other 2, then they let the knight through.
Yeah, but all he has to do is chump the knight and kill one of the other 2, and he doesn't die.
Yeah,
and then
I see.
So Mike has a very small window of opportunity here, but if John has a swords to he does have a swords to flasher.
That's one of his 2 cards in hand. And Micah goes up to 38 from that.
Yeah, Micah.
Give that 21 knight.
Yeah.
Kidding here.
Back up to 28. So he's at 28 now. Bob trigger. Forgotten Cave.
So it was actually an 11-11 knight. And Micah up to 18.
And here we are.
And he pays 4 life.
Okay.
Trying to accelerate things a little bit. Has a coin.
Yeah. Nice. And that's gonna put him down to 13. And he's gonna play
Pays
another
3.
knight.
Yeah, Knight of the Reliquary.
Nice.
And pass a turn.
Yeah. And John is going to be using his Dust Bowl again.
Forgotten Cave goes to the graveyard.
Yeah. And we're gonna see what is revealed next. All right, Micah looks like he could do something, especially if he's gonna stick this timer with the next turn, and then
Yeah.
he'll actually have a reasonable
Clock, yeah.
But I think John might actually have a rep. So
Does he? I think he has. Really?
yeah, no, I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, oh man, there's no way this is gonna end anytime
I didn't
soon.
see it. I didn't see it in his hand. But maybe you did. So.
So, and this is one of the most absurd
This is why Swiss rounds are timed.
Yeah. So Micah Greenbaum would have continued to be undefeated had this been a time match. Now we have this. So let's see what John does here. All right, a brainstorm.
Brainstorm from John will, do what Brainstorm does and let him look at the top three. Let him pick up the top three, put some back. I think the most baffling thing to me is that there are any cards left in either of these guys' libraries in the amount of time that they've been playing.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal.
Especially considering it's not just one card a turn. I mean,
Forgotten Cave.
Both players have played draw spells. Standstills have resolved.
I see a Burning Wish, another combo, and some other cards. Alright, now let's see.
Alright,
It's going to attack with Knight, and that's certainly big enough to end the game if it resolves, but I don't think it will.
So
if it makes it through.
Activate Mishra's Factory.
Yeah. It's going to block.
Block. Add some mana. Use the Dust Bowl. Sacrifice it. Kill the Nomad Stadium.
Yep. I'm confused about that mana as far.
What's that? Punishing Fire on the, yeah, can't target the Mishra's Factory that's not a creature. He sacrificed that one.
Tarmogoyf, please. Or Burning Wish, I don't know what you can get. Maybe it's awesome.
Well,
Please
he's
be
gonna
awesome.
find out. Burning Wish.
Let's see what he has access to here. Loam.
So it's Life from the Loam, which will, if it resolves, well, whether or not it resolves, get him some of those lands back that have been Dust Bowled away.
Yeah.
So, passes the turn back to John. John draws for the turn, sees a Tundra.
And, now he has to make a decision.
Yeah, I mean,
What's John's win condition here? Like, what exactly is he winning with? Mishra's Factories? I mean,
He's going to deck his opponent. Yeah. Now, let's see. So, I feel like, John would, it might really help him if he were playing a little faster. Maybe that would get the juices flowing and he would start running a little hotter. Oh, well, that's good. Those weren't lined up properly. I needed to. Monk's Diamond gets revealed for Dark Confidant. And that's going to be great in combination with the Life of the Realm. He also has a Vindicate here, which can rid the world of that pesky Crucible
of Worlds is terrible.
Which could actually mean that this game might end at some point.
Yeah.
But,
It's in my head now.
these are all just dreams. Alright. I don't even know if this is really happening anymore. Alright, Micah picks himself for 4 again. Gets in there with everybody. It's an aggressive play. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright.
So there's the Mishra's Factory jump blocker.
Yeah. Alright, where are you blocking, buddy?
So John's hand we know is Jace, and don't know what else. So he's gonna let the Bob in, gonna kill the worm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go down to 5 here. This is actually a really good attack from Micah. Alright, now. Oh, it does. No. Before they can block, couldn't he have shot one? Oh, I guess he could have just pumped it with the other one, but yeah, then he only has one blocker.
Yeah. I think so. I think you're
much
right.
better. Yeah. Well. So there, Micah could have used Punishing Fire on one of the 2 Mishra's Factories. And,
Vindicate Crucible of Worlds.
Yeah, and this could just be...
This could be the key to the victory for Micah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like John has an answer.
Yeah, I mean... At this point, it's just kind of a slow roll, right?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Crucible hits the yard.
Nice. So, pass the turnover.
Alright,
See
so
what,
that factory can't jump forever.
yeah, it's certainly cannot jump forever anymore. Now he's at 5. And he's going to go ahead and wasteland that Forgotten K-Boy. This is one of the most intense games I've watched in a very long time. It's funny though, intensity wears off, I feel.
Seems to me that it's just such tiny little edges that are going back and forth. Tiny
The
little
Jace. And I wonder what this is going to do.
bounce a knight. No, brainstorm.
Oh, he's... So John found a Path Exile in his top 3 cards.
Okay.
Alright, so Bob will knock Micah down to 6, and then the trigger will go on for the Silver Library, and if there's a land in there, he's going to want to leave that second from the top, because, oh, he's going to put it on top. Interesting. That'll allow him to play double Grand this turn, or double Punishing Fire to finish his opponent off.
Very, very interesting.
Alright,
So,
here we go.
attack. Now, he did not say attack Jace, right? I mean, so Path to Exile for the Knight of the Reliquary. Shuffling those 8 cards left in his library. And John will shuffle the 8 cards left in Micah's library. Punishing Fire. Punishing Fire, Punishing Fire.
Wow! Yeah, Micah Greenbaum is the Star City Games Baltimore, Maryland champion. Through a grueling game 2.
Grueling.
And grueling is kind of like I feel like I just went on the Oregon Trail. Like this is an intense game, but
oh my gosh, there were sheep and germs and
all sorts of things happening.
just like the Oregon
Yeah,
Trail.
that's probably what made me think of Lamb Chop. No lie.
Might be. Wow, that was intense, and
Yeah, now I'm not even sure if it's safe to go outside. We're in Baltimore, right? It's after midnight. Like, what happens?
yeah. I can see why Wizards printed Titans. I mean, we need creatures bigger than 1/1 worms to close out games. Wow. So, congratulations to Micah Greenbaum, who wins the Star City Games Open Series here in Baltimore, the Legacy Open. I'm Joey Pasco.
And I'm Jacob Van Lunen.
And, wow, again, what an intense matchup. And for those of you, apparently 2,000 people watching at home, wow, that was an experience. We also have a winner, I believe. We're going to find out who that is, a winner for the 1 year of Star City Games Premium. So, there it is. At
The Net Brew. Congratulations, The Net Brew.
Yeah.
You just won yourself a whole year of Star City Games Premium.
Yeah, the question we had asked was what SCG Select writer played Illusionary Mask on camera today, and that of course is AJ Kerrigan, child prodigy, right?
Yeah.
Been doing some videos.
The
and,
young
articles.
and the reckless, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Confusionary Mask. We had Jared Silva in the booth for the entire round, trying to explain the intricacies of this card, and pretty crazy. So,
And we also have a new card to show
Yeah.
you guys. Here, let me
you're
get
gonna,
this
you're
on.
gonna pull that up there. Yeah. So see if we can get this on camera here.
So that's the art, but let me read this to you guys.
It's gonna be hard to read it if it's facing the other way, but
Now, the
This
card,
is
what it
kind
does, it costs 6 red, 8 mana. It's a sorcery. And it says, for each non-land permanent, choose a player at random. Then, each player gains control of each permanent for which he or she was chosen. Untap those permanents.
and the
Now,
card is called Scrambleverse.
Scrambleverse. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of a more fun card than this, but I haven't. So, Scrambleverse, M12, awesome. Buy a box, free month of premium. Insane! Do it! Wow!
Totally. Singles available already on Star City Games.
Like singles. We don't even know what the whole set is. You can already buy some of the singles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How is that even possible?
I don't even know.
I'm about
Wow.
to cry. I don't even know what's
Wow.
going on anymore.
What is it? I think JBL is delirious. And wow, so that's the exclusive spoiler. So
Would you like to do a quick interview?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Really well played topic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
I thought I was going after.
Let's move out of the way so he can get the picture. Oh wait, he can come this way. Okay. We'll duck. And yeah, you probably need to stand because
Oh, I thought I was
it's
supposed
just
to try
you.
to. Okay.
Yeah, it's just you in that shot.
All right.
All right. So we
Do you want to sit down and do a quick
straw.
interview?
Here, I'll squeeze out here.
No, I'll pull a chair over.
Yeah,
Sit in the middle. All right.
All right.
All right. I'll stand over here. You'll stand. All right.
So Micah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sweet
Appreciate
deck.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Agrolome. Haven't seen that in forever.
Yeah.
Have you been playing it for a long time?
Shortly after Grand Prix Providence.
Not very.
Not very long. A friend of mine played it there. He put it together a couple nights before Grand Prix Providence and made day 2. Was in contention to top 16 till he ran into the train that's Tom Martell.
Okay.
And, then we made a few changes, added Punishing Fire Grove over Seismic Assault. Played it in a Force of Will tournament over at Westfield, Mass. Like a week later, won that.
Nice.
And didn't really change much for today. Just I added a couple Swords to Plowshares, which were pretty amazing all day because they kill things at instant speed.
Yeah.
Which the deck actually doesn't have a lot of that does. I mean, Punishing Fire kills things, but swords,
Only little things.
Yeah, only little things. So I'm very happy with it.
Really intense finals.
Yeah.
That game too, man.
That game too was long.
That was intense.
I can't believe I didn't find a Life in the Loam for the longest time.
It literally took forever.
Yeah. I'm like, there was a couple times where I actually thought about if I ever got to untap with the night, not attacking, just shuffling my library because the top of my library kept yielding junk, and then he kept pathing it. I was like, oh well, I got more life. I guess I'll draw some more cards. And oh no, didn't get there. But I don't know. I was kind of shocked that he didn't. I figured he would have a spell snare for the Burning Wish, and I'd be stuck looking again. But hey,
You got it.
I got there. So all right,
Nice.
thanks for staying here so late, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Well done, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations.
Thank
Get him, man. This deck is probably going to become like a metagame regular now. Agrolome?
Again, yeah.
People used to love this deck. People used to love this deck. That's the problem. That's what I was saying when you were first. That's what I was saying when Micah was first in top base. The deck is very strong against pure control decks. The deck is very strong against any creature-based strategy. But when you start playing against combo decks, you're just going to get rolled, which is the big problem.
Yeah.
So if you can avoid those in a tournament,
Faced on the day.
very nice. Micah says he didn't face a single combo deck on the whole day. And if you can dodge combo decks, or if you think the metagame is light on combo at the time, then Agrolome is probably the perfect deck for you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to the judges, the staff, the convention center, Baltimore.
The city of Baltimore.
Yeah. Thanks JVL.
Thank you, Joey.
Yeah. This was a really fun weekend.
Awesome.
Crazy finals there. Just crazy weekend in general. Very, very cool. So the next tournament coming up in Cincinnati a couple weeks from now. July 17th, mid-July-ish, I think, is the weekend. And I'm not sure who's doing commentary. Are you there in Cincinnati? It's not me. Not sure who the SCG Live commentators are, but nevertheless, SCG Live will be there, bringing you the coverage of the tournament, the brand new standard format, including M12 cards.
Ooh.
So that'll be
Which are
exciting.
actually available on StarCityGames.com
Available
right now
now.
for pre-order. Some of them that have been spoiled. And if you buy a box of M12, let's say you want to learn how to draft better.
Yeah.
You want to get into the M12 draft format. Well, then you can buy a box on Star City, and guess what you get when you buy a box?
3 month of premium.
A free month of premium. I even just said this 5 minutes ago, but I'm reiterating it because of how important it is for all of you to know that. All right. Anyway, good night, everyone. I had a great time this weekend. Be well.
Thanks.